Well, hey, welcome to the Senior Network. I'm your host, Greg Fulton. Today we are joined by our friend Charlie Tyler.
Hi, Greg. Good to be here.
Good to see you again.
Thank
Spiritual counselor for Lowcountry Hospice.
Right.
Hospice care of the Lowcountry. Let me make sure I get that right.
That's right, yeah.
Natalie Lucas, good to see you again.
Good to see you, sir.
Optimal Hearing Systems.
Yes.
Great. Well, the holidays are here, guys. Can you believe it?
No,
I think you were back on the show back in the summer, right?
That's right. Well, I was there.
And now we're already here at the holidays.
Yeah, I enjoyed talking with you.
Well, that leads us into, Charlie, makes me think about, I'm sure that things change a little bit in your world around the holidays. Tell us a little bit how that affects maybe
They do. Yeah, the holidays really intensify a lot of stuff, especially when the families come together. And if I can do a little sidebar thing to have some of your listeners be thinking about.
Sure.
This is really a good time. It doesn't feel like it was a great time when families are together at the table to begin the process of adults talking with each other about what they might like to see for their end of life.
Great point.
Yeah, and it's really hard to get those gatherings, and it's a little bit of a buzzkill, of course, but it really is important to start that conversation. There's some tools that we have in our hospice, and if someone would like to reach out to us, call the office. I think the number is going to be on your screen.
Sure.
And we'll be happy to send a 5 Wishes advanced directive free of charge. Also would refer them to some other tools that are online. But this is a good time to start that conversation when families are all together in the same place.
It's an absolutely great point. I know in the last segment we were talking about that, about planning. I never really thought about that around the holidays when everybody's sitting at the table.
Yeah. Just say, let's talk about that. Do that now. Yeah. But the other thing that obviously begins to happen with us too is that I'm a part of the support group with bereavement as well as a chaplain. And the thing that we find is that especially the first significant holidays after a loved one passes is really difficult, either a spouse or a parent. The Thanksgiving times, a lot of family traditions, and there's that tradition in there anymore. Christmas time, family traditions, and then the tradition is broken. So starting to find those new traditions and starting to make a new way and find a new way to live your life without that significant person there, it's a difficult time, and it's okay for it to be a difficult time. It's okay when you're not okay, to be able to give yourself a break and be kind to yourself and kind to your family. But sometimes those emotions get really confused and conflicted. The grief sometimes doesn't display itself healthily. Very often grief sort of shows itself as anger and frustration, and nobody knows why you're angry. Nobody knows what's going on until you can really identify that. So that's a good thing to do during the holiday season too, is sort of check your inner self and see what's going on, if you've had a recent loss, or if this is your first series of holidays, or even the second series. Very often, if the death is, if the loss is early in the year, it's not quite as intense. But if the loss is close to the holidays, then very often it's the second set of holidays that's triggering, because you kind of numb through the first one. Yeah. And then the second one, you're a little healed, and that scar really begins to open up just a little bit. So be aware of that. That'd be my counsel with families going through that at this time.
Great information, Charlie.
Thank you.
Well, Natalie, tell us a little bit. I know we're talking about the holidays. I'm sure that brings a lot of awareness for your world too, correct?
It does. When families all get together, families may become aware that a parent or a loved one is not hearing them well. Right. And oftentimes the person themselves may not be aware of it yet. So getting groups together always can highlight a hearing loss. And just like he was saying about it being a good time to sit down and talk with people, it's a good time to address those issues too. Mom or dad, you're not hearing me well. Right. What can we do about it? And open the conversation. They may be reluctant at first, but if you don't talk about it, then you can never really address what may be actually going on.
Natalie, I know we were talking with Charlie here, and that made me think about, I know in your world things change this time of year too when it comes to people recognizing the need, right?
Absolutely. If you haven't seen family in a long time, then any subtle changes can become more apparent.
Sure.
And if you're family and you're arriving to your parents' house for the holidays and you can hear the TV before you ever approach the front door, then you know that it's likely that they're maybe not hearing as well as they used to be, and it just opens the door for those types of conversations. Also, simply just engaging with people in groups of people.
Right.
if your loved one's not hearing well, it's a good time to bring it up and say,
Yes,
I'm
great.
noticing some changes. What can we do about it?
Right. And in that setting, when you've got family around, hopefully it makes it a little more easier maybe to talk about then, because you've got more people understanding the need, right?
Right, absolutely. And, a lot of times the trouble with accepting hearing loss is acknowledging that things are changing, and
Right.
you can make it light. It doesn't have
Sure.
to be so serious, and families are oftentimes the best ones at poking fun and
Exactly, right.
making it not such a heavy burden
Yeah.
for people to address.
Well, it made me think too, you were talking about a little earlier, just the technology now. It's amazing, Charlie. I know you know that too, about
yeah.
how far it's come. Tell us a little bit about some of the little perks that people may not realize.
There are a lot of ways that Bluetooth and wireless technology can help people hear better, and we were just talking about the TV. What a lot of people don't realize is there are devices you can purchase both to connect with your hearing aids and simply, separate, even if you don't have hearing aids. There are wired and wireless devices you can plug into your audio out of your television to stream the direct output of the TV in through your hearing aids. And for people that have hearing aids, they can buy streamers and put their hearing aids into a mode that puts the television straight into their ears. This, a lot of times, is a huge deal for people because even with hearing aids, television is often a really challenging thing to listen to and enjoy like you once did.
Exactly. Great information. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Natalie. We need to take a break. Stay with us here on the Senior Network. We will be right back.